Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another pregnancy update. This week we are talking all about weeks 20 through 22 of my pregnancy, and fasten your seatbelts. There's a lot that went on during these 2 weeks. It was actually probably the most stressful time of my pregnancy so far, which I've had a very easy pregnancy, but just a couple scares that went on during this period of time. So I'll just go ahead and jump in. I assume if you're watching this video, you've probably followed my other videos, but if by some chance you just stumbled upon this one, hello, I'm Cassie. I'm currently, as I sit here, 23 weeks pregnant with our first baby. We had a little bit of a fertility journey to get here. I'll have all those videos linked down below as well if you want to check those out. But we're finally here. It has been amazing. I've had a wonderful pregnancy, but like I said, weeks 20 through 22, had a little bit of excitement and not in a good way. So we will start with the app. So I've been using the What to Expect app. I should probably turn down the brightness on here. Does that help at all? There we go. Okay, so baby was the size of a sweet potato, 6.5 inches, 10 ounces. So most people have to wait until 20 weeks to do their anatomy scan. My OB actually had me do it a little bit early. So I did my anatomy scan at 18.5 weeks, had my follow-up with her at 19.5 weeks. And so by 20 weeks, I'd been through all that excitement. So we actually traveled during week 20. We went back home to Northern Idaho and stayed with my parents on the farm. Well, it's not really a farm, but it's in the country in the middle of nowhere, which is just lovely, especially in the fall. So we did that, and the whole reason for that trip was a wedding. Jordan was a groomsman in our friend's wedding, and it was so much fun. The Palouse in the fall is, like I said, just totally stunning. And so we went to the wedding, we were having a great time, and during my pregnancy, I should say, exercise-wise, I've been like walking occasionally or doing like prenatal Pilates or yoga at home. So that's been kind of how I've been moving my body the past 20 some weeks. And at the wedding, everyone's dancing. So I had already told Jordan he loves swing dancing. I had already told him he loves going fast and all of that. And I was like, okay, we need to take it really slow. Like, we can't go crazy, no dips, like just keep it really safe and simple. And he was like, okay, we can do that. So we did one dance, and then I think, was it the Cupid Shuffle or the Cha-Cha Slide? It was one of those. So just like 2 dances in a row. And then I went to use the restroom and I was spotting. And I was terrified because as much as they say like, you can have some spotting in pregnancy and it's nothing to worry about, I had 0 spotting the entire time. So the fact that I like did something a little out of the normal and then I started spotting, I like freaked myself out. And so I went out and I told Jordan, I was like, okay, sorry, I know it's like the very beginning of the reception, but no more dancing for me. Like, I'm going to sit the rest of the time. And I think honestly, if we had just done more like basic slow songs, it probably would have been fine, but I tend to go hard on like the Cupid Shuffle and the Cha-Cha Slide when it's like working the hips, and these hips have not been worked in that way in a long time, because like I used to be a Zumba instructor, but I have not been Zumba-ing since being pregnant, just because I've leaned more towards the yoga and Pilates. So I think just like all the hip motions and stuff my body was not used to, so I don't know if it was like a little blood vessel burst or something, but yeah, I just cut off the dancing for the rest of the night. And it was a little sad because like I said, the night was really early, and I had a couple people come over and be like, is everything okay? We noticed you're just sitting. And I was like, yep, everything's fine. Don't worry about me. So yeah, that happened. Weight gain, I forgot to talk about weight gain. So week 19, oh yeah, so we had a pretty big jump in weight this week. So we gained about 3 pounds. Wait, yeah, is that true? Yeah. So we gained about 3 pounds from week 19 to week 20, which was really good. So that put me at about like 8 pounds gained total in the pregnancy by week 20, which I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet of people like shaming people for not gaining enough, or like being rude to people that gained a ton. Like, honestly, it really doesn't matter. Like, there's a healthy weight gain based on what your weight was prior to getting pregnant. For me, I was in a healthy weight range, so the normal range I think is like 20 to 35 pounds or 25 to 35 pounds, something in there. By the end of your pregnancy, that's like a normal healthy weight gain. So the fact that I'm halfway there and I've gained 8 pounds, totally fine with that, because at my last anatomy scan, baby was 1 pound 1 ounce of that 8 pounds. So obviously baby's gonna put on at least another 6 or 7 pounds, Lord willing, before arrival. And so that's gonna be at least another 6 or 7 pounds on me. So I'm definitely gonna be like in the 20-some pound weight gain, which is totally healthy. So no shaming people that don't gain a lot, and no shaming people that do gain a lot, okay? Be nice, internet. Anyways, so continuing on with week 20, I noticed, and you can probably see maybe in this video, I feel like I'm getting that Gretchen Wieners hair that's full of secrets. I have read in lots of the pregnancy books that you can get like great supermodel voluptuous hair during pregnancy, and I kind of feel like it is getting more full, like getting more body to it. And I did change my shampoo conditioner like a couple months ago. I did a partnership with like a more natural hair company, but honestly, I think it's probably also because of the pregnancy. So as you know, if you followed this series, I started feeling movements at like 13, 14 weeks. At that point, it was like muscle spasms. And then like probably closer to 15, 16 weeks, I started feeling what I called like the Winnie the Pooh rumbly in my tumbly. Like I could tell there was movement going on, but nothing super specific. Well, by week 20, it might have happened even a little before, but this is the first time I like remember to write it down. During week 20, the movement increased, so I was feeling it more often, and it was also stronger. So I would get hits occasionally that were like, oh, wow, like that had some muscle behind it. And so that was really exciting. During week 20, was when the stress of these 2 weeks kind of started. So I actually got a call because at my anatomy scan follow-up that I had with my OB's office, they were like, oh, and yeah, you had that one blood test come back at 10 weeks that had a false positive on it. We just need to have you retake that test today, like do the blood work again so we can make sure that was truly a false positive. And I was like, okay. I did not remember them telling me any of this at the 10-week appointment. They must have either like not told me or glossed over it. And so I did the blood draw that day, and that was about it. Didn't think anything of it. Well, I got a call at like the Monday of week 20, and it was from my OB's office, and she was like, hey, so I just want to let you know we got your blood test results back, and it did show up as positive again. She didn't really give a whole lot of info other than just like, you know, at our office, if there's anything outside our normal scope of things, we like to send you to maternal fetal medicine because they're the specialists. They can look into it a little bit further. So, you know, nothing to stress. It's just more in their realm. And I was like, oh, okay, weird. Like, I've done so much blood work throughout our fertility journey and everything. I've never had anything come back concerning. She wasn't sounding super concerned on the phone, and so I didn't think I needed to be concerned. So I just was like, okay, maternal fetal medicine is gonna be calling me. We're gonna set up an appointment, whatever. So later on that week, we scheduled the appointment, and that was for the following week. So I think I mentioned already that I had some blood test results coming back inconclusive. So my OB recommended I go see the maternal fetal medicine specialists. And so I just got off the phone with them scheduling that for next week. But the weird thing is, when I was on the phone with them, apparently they changed my due date in my chart, but did not tell me about it. So my original due date, according to my period and everything, was March 5th. But like my first 2 appointments, they said I was measuring ahead by like 5 days, which I think was like March 1st. But on my chart, apparently my due date is February 28th. So who actually knows? I mean, that kind of works because I really want to go into labor on February 26th because that's grandma's birthday. And especially if it's a girl. But yeah, so due date got moved up a little bit, I guess. We'll see if that ends up happening. So week 21, baby was the size of a large banana, which is 10.5 inches, 11 to 12.5 ounces. And actually my baby was bigger than that because this is the week that I had my scan with maternal fetal medicine, and my baby was actually 1 pound 1 ounce already at week 21. So we're growing a little faster than the app says we're growing. So we lost about a pound this week, but again, I only weigh myself once a week, so you can have those normal kind of fluctuations day to day anyways, so wasn't super concerned. So still sitting about at like 8 pounds-ish gained the entire pregnancy. So symptoms for week 21, the heartburn continued, and it's very, very rare. It just pops up occasionally, a couple times a week. It's not even a daily occurrence, so it's really not bad. But it is generally followed by acid reflux, which is gross. Like, that is the ickiest pregnancy symptom that I have had to deal with. It's just weird. Again, the movement and the regularity of the movement increased a lot. So prior to that, it was like maybe once a day I would feel something. And during week 21, I took note that I was feeling movement like 2 to 3 different times a day. And it would be kind of, because they're doing their own like wake sleep schedule in there, it's like from 9 to 9:30 I'd be feeling movement, and then like 2 to 3 in the afternoon, and then like again at bedtime. So it was like little increments throughout the day, that I would be feeling those movements. And we also had our gender reveal during week 21. So hopefully the gender reveal came out before this video. If not, surprise, we're having a girl. We're so excited. We completely were convinced that it was a boy. We had our boy name picked out. We were just like going back and forth between 2 middle names, and it's a girl. So we have like a top 10 list of names right now. We have a long ways to go, but still I'm really excited to film the names we love but won't be using video, because I'm obsessed with baby names. So look for that in the future. So continuing on with the like mystery of the blood work, even taking it back a step further. So I had been thinking for a while about switching my care provider and like who is gonna deliver the baby. So I've said this before, I still need to sit down and film it, but I will be doing a video explaining like hospital versus birth center and which direction I wanted to go. So I really wanted to do the birth center, but we found out probably about week 19 or 20 that that was not going to be covered by either of our insurance. I'll go into more detail when I shoot that video, but basically birth center was out, so it was hospital birth only. But there were just multiple reasons why I didn't want to deliver with my OB. And I've said in so many videos, like particularly my fertility videos, I love my OB. She was so great, like great bedside manner. But when it came to labor and delivery, we just have very different ideas. And so that is one thing I will say to like any new moms or like any pregnant woman at all, regardless of if it's your first or not, but just know what you want and make sure that you're creating a birth team that is in line with that. And there was just multiple instances along the way that showed me that me and my OB were on very different pages. She's very quick to like go to prescriptions and things like that, whereas I want to take more of a natural approach. She was way more into like intervention and technology, more so than the natural labor that I had envisioned for myself. So I had known that I was probably gonna make a switch, and when the birth center was out, I was like, okay, it's time to switch over to the nurse midwives at the hospital and I will have them deliver. So after my, what was that, 19-20 week appointment with my OB's office, I called the nurse midwives and asked to schedule a consultation just to like meet and greet, go over all my questions with them. So I had that on the Monday of week 21. So I went in there so excited to get to meet them and see the facility and all of that. And the appointment went really well. But then they mentioned like, by the way, we were looking at your chart and we saw your blood test results. Did your doctor talk to you about that? And I was like, oh yeah, I have my maternal fetal medicine appointment on Wednesday. And like, I know if I'm considered high risk, I might not be able to deliver with you guys, but I'm sure it's nothing because I've done so many blood tests and nothing has ever come up like this before. And they were like, okay, well, how did you feel like getting that call? And the way that they phrased it, I'm sure she didn't mean it this way, but the way she said it and like the look in her eyes, it was like someone had just diagnosed me with cancer and she was asking how I was taking the news. And I was like, I didn't think my blood test results were that concerning. Like no one had said anything to me thus far that I should be concerned. And so even though the appointment with the nurse midwives went so well, just that one question really stuck with me. And I came home, had a little bit of a mental breakdown because I was like, okay, are my blood test results more concerning than anyone's letting on? Like, what is the truth? I was afraid to Google because you know if you Google or WebMD anything, it comes back with like worst case scenario, you're dying. So I wasn't letting myself Google, but because of that, I just didn't even know what to think because I didn't know what these results meant. And so luckily I only had to sit on that for 48 hours because my nurse midwives appointment was Monday and my maternal fetal medicine appointment was Wednesday. So skipping ahead to Wednesday, I go to the maternal fetal medicine appointment and their team there was so lovely. I had an OB that was training in ultrasound doing the anatomy scan. They basically redid my entire anatomy scan, which was really fun to get to see it again because it'd been a couple weeks and he definitely, because he was in training, he took a little longer to do things, which was nice because he could take the time to explain what he was doing along the way. And baby was moving all over the place, making it so hard for them, but it was just so fun to watch her. So yeah, they did the full scan. Everything looked great, which I kind of knew it would because I was like, why are we doing another ultrasound? All my ultrasounds have came back great. The only issue has been this blood test. So they did the scan, everything came back wonderfully. And so then the other OB came in and they just explained to me like, okay, this test that you kept getting an inconclusive result on is an antibody test. So generally, with the kind of test that this is, you didn't have a high enough percentage to show that there was actual antibodies of this disease in your system. We did confirm with the infectious disease doctors. They also feel good with saying that you are healthy, you are not high risk, and because it was such a low number that was pulling up and not allowing it to be like a negative test, it was still under 1%, which means you are not testing positive for anything. It is just like you have a special protein in your blood that was reacting with the test. And so they're like, but we're confident to say, like with the infectious disease doctors, that like you are healthy, you are not high risk, and everything is fine with your pregnancy and you can deliver with whomever, like wherever you would like. And so I was so grateful because I had said a prayer going to this appointment, like obviously you want everything to be fine, but I also just didn't know what to expect. Like I didn't know if I'd just go in and they'd do some blood draws and then I'd have to sit around still wondering like if something was wrong with me. So the fact that we went to the appointment and like had it all tied up in a perfect little bow by the end of the hour was just even better than I could have expected. So they said everything was fine, I could deliver with who I wanted. So then I knew like 100% I'm going with the nurse midwives. Then on Friday, I had my first nurse midwives appointment and got to again go over all my questions with them. There's a team of 6 of them. So I met with one that Monday and a different one on Friday, and just kind of went over my questions, a little bit of my delivery plan. She measured the fundal height to make sure that baby was measuring correctly, which she was. And yeah, so that went great. I'm so excited to be working with them. Like I said, I'll go into a lot more detail onto why I made each of these different decisions and what that means for like my birth plan and whatnot in a different video, which I'm so excited to film, but look for that coming up. So everything's fine. Me and baby are fine. I'm so happy and just so grateful to not be high risk and just be able to continue on this pregnancy. Okay, this is when I feel like the vegetables do not make sense, because last week we were a large banana and this week we're a bell pepper, week 22. I don't know how that makes any sense. I think of bananas as being larger than bell peppers, but you know, whatever. So that is 11 inches and 1 pound. Again, we already know my baby was measuring larger than 1 pound. So we got a big baby in there. Week 22, I had so much energy. I don't know what it was, but my circadian rhythms were totally off again. That has like come and gone throughout the pregnancy ever since like week 4. So there were multiple mornings where I woke up super early, like 5:30, 6 o'clock, which for me, I normally get up around like 7:30, sometimes 8 o'clock if we're being honest, because I work from home. And so waking up at 5:30, 6 o'clock and being like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed is weird for me. Like that is not my normal life. So that happened a couple times this week. And one of those days, I like decided to get up. I started working a little bit early, so I got off a little bit earlier. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to accomplish so much. I like cleaned the whole house. I put on a belly band and safely went through our whole storage unit and like got out the Christmas tree and some other stuff. And I was just like going until almost 9 o'clock that night. So from like 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. I was like on a roll, and I still wasn't that tired. I had to force myself to go to sleep at 11 p.m. And like I said, I don't understand this burst of energy, but I'm gonna take it because hopefully if that sticks with me, it will help me through those first few weeks with baby, but I'm loving it. Another thing I noticed during week 22 was, while I haven't been gaining that much weight, week 22, I was back up to the same weight gain as week 20. So I put on about, like I said, 8 pounds still throughout the entire pregnancy. And for the most part, I had only noticed weight gain in my belly, which, you know, totally fine, totally normal. But then I started to realize, because I've been living in leggings so much, I hadn't really put it together. But because I have now purchased some like maternity jeans and some other things, I really started to notice that I've also been gaining weight in like my thigh area, like, and specifically like the inner thigh, which is interesting. You'll have to let me know in the comments below if you have been pregnant or if you're also pregnant, like if you had any random areas that additionally gained weight. I guess that's not odd because it is like close to where the baby is, but yeah, I just noticed on a lot of those maternity jeans and things, it was like really tight through that inner thigh area. So apparently I'm gaining weight there as well. I know I have not been doing super great with my workouts. I've been doing a solid workout once a week, a couple times if I'm lucky, honestly. I have no excuse for it. Basically, I work an 8-hour day. I'll have like a couple chores or errands that I want to do, and then it's dinner time and we just sit down, eat dinner, and then relax for the evening. So that's my excuse. But so part of me is thinking, well, maybe I should start doing more leg workouts rather than just like prenatal yoga and Pilates, and do like more focused body part workouts. And the other side of me is like, you're pregnant, you're gonna gain weight. It's natural. So we'll see how that goes. But that is the wrap up of weeks 20 through weeks 22 of my pregnancy. So a little bit of a scare there with the blood tests, but all in all, everything's fine. I'm low risk, hallelujah, and I can continue moving towards my delivery. And yeah, we are 17 weeks away right now, which is insane. We're like on that, I was gonna say a downhill climb, but it's not climbing if you're going downhill. We're at the point now where the amount of weeks to the due date is like smaller than how many weeks along I am, which is just wild. Because some people don't even make it to their due date, which I don't know. I go back and forth. I was like over 2 weeks late when I was born. So Karma would have me going 2 weeks late, which would be Jordan's birthday. But they've been saying all along that it's a big baby. And I happen to know my ovulation date, which puts baby's due date sooner than the date that they use to predict with just your like menstrual cycle. So because of that and the baby measuring large, I've had it in my head the whole time I'm gonna come earlier than my due date, but we will see. You know, just for fun, if you like, comment down below. So my technical due date, as of right now, going by the menstrual cycle, is March 5th. Going by the ovulation date is March 4th. As you can see, baby is measuring like a week or two ahead in weight. So comment down below. What day is my baby going to arrive? Maybe you'll get like a prize or a high five, who knows. But yeah, that's the update for now, and a lot more exciting things to come. I have my first baby shower next week, which I cannot wait for. We have both the grandmas flying in and auntie and all of that. So it's going to be a great time. I also have an awesome collaboration coming up that I can't wait to share with you guys with a very well-known maternity brand. So stick around for that. Giveaways, baby showers, all kinds of fun things coming up in the very near future. So stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed, like this video if you're enjoying the pregnancy content, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.